people writing in newspapers filling up space, but I mean they're reviewing one song, taking 6 columns.
You don't earn a cent when someone does a song about having moves like Jagger.
That's right.
A man who once danced through the swinging London 60s now stands at 81, yet his energy still lights up arenas. How does Mick Jagger keep moving as if he never aged? Today, you will step into his world, his daily activities, his homes, his family ties, and a surprising call for civic action without holding a single detail back. Before the fame, before the chaos, and long before the sorrow, there was a boy with a record collection and a fire in his chest. Here's how it all began. From Dartford dreamer to rock and roll glory. Sir Michael Philip Jagger was born on July 26, 1943, in Dartford, Kent, England, into a middle-class home led by his father, Basil Joe Jagger, a gym teacher and former gymnast, and his mother, Eva Scutts, a hairdresser who took an active role in local politics. He grew up with one younger brother, Chris, who would also pursue music in later years. As a child, Mick sang in the church choir and adored American rhythm and blues records on BBC Radio and Radio Luxembourg. He met Keith Richards at Wentworth Primary School in September 1950, bonding instantly over Muddy Waters and Chuck Berry records carried in Mick's school bag. In 1954, after passing the 11+ exam, Mick moved on to Dartford Grammar School, which today honors him with the Mick Jagger Center Performing Arts venue. Though expected to follow his father into teaching, Mick felt the pull of music from an early age and formed his first skiffle group with school friends, playing guitars borrowed from local shops. By 1960, he was rehearsing with Dick Taylor in a group called Little Boy Blue and the Blue Boys, covering Bo Diddley and Howlin' Wolf tunes. A chance reunion with Keith Richards on Dartford Station's platform 2 in October 1961 cemented their musical partnership when their shared record collection came to light. In late 1961, the duo moved to London and rented a flat at 102 Edith Grove in Chelsea, joined by guitarist Brian Jones. While Richards and Jones joined Alexis Corner's Blues Incorporated at the Ealing Club, Mick studied finance at the London School of Economics on a government grant, even considering a career in journalism or politics before fully committing to music. His time at LSE sharpened his stage presence, teaching him to speak and engage an audience both in classrooms and, soon, on stage. On July 12, 1962, the newly named Rolling Stones debuted at the Marquee Club in London, with Mick as lead singer alongside Brian Jones, Ian Stewart, Bill Wyman, Charlie Watts, and Keith Richards. Their early sets featured raw versions of Chuck Berry's Come On and Little Walter's Jigsaw Puzzle, earning applause and curious press reviews calling them authentically gritty. Within months, they released Come On as their first single, and by 1963, they had their first UK Top 10 hit with I Wanna Be Your Man, penned by Lennon and McCartney. 1964 brought their breakout success in America, where Not Fade Away and Time Is On My Side climbed the charts. Their rebellious attitude contrasted sharply with the Beatles' image, and Mick's swaggering stage moves, twisting hips, pointing mic stands, and leaning forward captured youth culture's restless spirit. By 1965, I Can't Get No. Satisfaction became a global anthem, topping charts in the United Kingdom and the United States, and solidifying their rock and roll legend. As fame grew, Mick navigated legal troubles and tabloid scandals, substance arrests, high-profile romances, and wild parties in swinging London. Despite the chaos, his drive for performance never waned. He fine-tuned his vocals to perfect his art. In recognition of his impact on music, he was knighted as Sir Mick Jagger in 2003, a rare honor for a rock artist. Through every setback and triumph, Mick's focus remained on one goal: to make people move, shout, and feel alive. His journey from a Dartford schoolboy to the frontman of rock's greatest band set the stage for decades of unending tours, chart-topping hits, and an energy that refuses to fade. But just as Mick seemed to conquer it all, the real test began. Could he carry the crown through chaos, exhaustion, and the weight of global fame? Let's step into the whirlwind years that redefined rock itself. The heights of fame and unending tours. Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones reached the peak of their fame in the late 1960s, when they released a string of albums that changed the face of rock music. They dropped Beggar's Banquet in December 1968, featuring songs like Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man, which blended blues, rock, and social commentary in a raw, haunting way. They followed it with Let It Bleed in November 1969, showing a wider range of influences from country on Country Honk to gospel touches on You Can't Always Get What You Want. In August 1971, Sticky Fingers arrived with its daring Andy Warhol cover and hits like Brown Sugar, becoming their first LP to top both the charts. These records cemented the Stones as more than just a singles band. They were artists shaping culture and style. As their reputation grew, so did their live shows. Stadium tours in the early 1970s became spectacles, with huge marquees, elaborate light rigs, and flamboyant costumes that matched Jagger's onstage swagger. He and Keith Richards led the group through marathon sets that sometimes ran over 2 hours, playing 30 songs or more each night. He bounded across the stage, spun the mic stand, and struck poses that ignited fans' frenzy. Even by 30, he moved with the confidence of a dancer, a skill honed through endless rehearsals and his father's early lessons in physical education. Their global tours became financial juggernauts. The 1972 American tour grossed over $10 million, a record at the time. In 1981, the Tattoo You Tour sold out stadiums across Europe and North America, pulling in more than $125 million and drawing over 4 million attendees. Jagger learned to pace himself, building in breaks between legs of the tour, and hired top engineers to maintain sound quality in every venue. He stayed mobile, sleeping on tour buses or private jets, and eating light meals cooked by personal chefs to keep his voice clear. In 1985, Jagger stepped out alongside Tina Turner at Live Aid in Philadelphia, performing State of Shock and It's Only Rock and Roll before a global TV audience of over 1 billion people. It was his first solo appearance on stage in years and highlighted his status as a global icon who could unite audiences for charity. He returned to headlining Stones tours in 1989 with the Steel Wheels Tour, which became the highest-grossing tour of that year, blending his showmanship with expanded video screens and laser effects. Through the early years, the Stones evolved with the times. The Bridges to Babylon tour from 1997 to 1998 incorporated elaborate stage designs inspired by medieval castles, and Jagger experimented with rap cameos and dance routines alongside his trademark moves. His stamina surprised those who expected him to slow down. He marked his 60th birthday with the A Bigger Bang Tour from 2005 to 2007, which grossed over $500 million, making it the highest-grossing tour ever at that point. At nearly 65, he still sprinted across the stage, delivering every note with clarity and passion. In October 2023, Jagger returned with Hackney Diamonds, his first Stones album in 18 years. The 2024 to 2025 Hackney Diamonds tour sold 847,800 tickets, and grossed $235.1 million over 18 stadium shows in North America, with average set lists featuring 25 songs and a 25-piece string section for ballads. Audiences noted that his voice remained powerful, and his physical moves, though tempered by decades, carried the same charisma that launched the band 6 decades ago. Behind the scenes, he works with choreographers to shape his moves, selects wardrobe that balances comfort and style, and meets with sound engineers to fine-tune each stadium's acoustics. He views every show as a living thing, meant to surprise both him and the crowd. He has no plans to stop. In recent interviews, he smiles when asked about retirement and says that as long as fans want the Stones, he will lace up those boots and step into the spotlight. Through every era, psychedelia, punk backlash, MTV pop, and today's digital age, Mick Jagger's energy and creativity drove the Rolling Stones' touring machine. He turned live rock and roll into a high-stakes spectacle, blending music, theater, and fashion in ways few have matched. Keeping the energy. To keep up with sold-out stadium shows and hours on stage, Jagger treats his body as his greatest instrument. He views each performance as a test of stamina. From morning light to late-night encore, his day revolves around movement, food, and rest. While many artists slow down with age, he leans into a routine that feels natural. His drive to maintain energy started decades ago with lessons from his father. Each morning begins with a good diet plan. He blends a ginseng smoothie with kale, banana, and a spoonful of honey. He swallows cod liver oil capsules and takes a multivitamin to fill gaps. For breakfast, he may have oatmeal topped with berries or a poached egg on whole grain toast. For lunch, grilled fish or chicken with green salad provides protein and fiber. He avoids heavy meals after 6 in the evening to aid sleep. His diet draws from Mediterranean and Okinawan ideas, emphasizing fresh, whole foods over processed items. He also drinks plenty of water and herbal teas throughout the day. Twice a week, he joins a choreographer for dance rehearsal. They spend 2 hours drilling steps, turns, and stage moves. These sessions keep his coordination sharp. He also visits a gym 3 times per week. His workouts include light weights, resistance bands, and body weight exercises. He avoids heavy lifting to protect his joints. Instead, he focuses on movement patterns that mimic on-stage pacing. He finishes gym sessions with stretching, holding each stretch for 30 seconds. These activities keep his muscles flexible and ready for long performances without strain. He tracks his heart rate during workouts to avoid strain. Cardio is key to sustaining 2-hour shows. 3 mornings a week, he runs 5 to 12 kilometers around his countryside estate. He wears minimalist running shoes to strengthen his foot muscles. On tour, he swaps roads for hotel treadmills. He tracks his pace and distance with a smartwatch. These runs raise his heart rate and build endurance. They also clear his mind before sound checks. When the weather is poor, he does indoor cycling or rowing. He says that moving his body first thing energizes him for the rest of the day. Strength work blends low-impact moves with functional exercises. He uses kettlebells for swings that engage the hips and core. Suspension training helps him build stability and balance. His physiotherapist adds resistance band work for shoulder and hip health. He never uses heavy machines, focusing on exercises that mirror stage actions like lunges, squats, and step-ups. After each workout, he soaks in an Epsom salt bath to ease soreness. On tour, he visits a massage therapist daily for deep tissue work. These steps help him recover quickly and prevent injury during long tour runs. Sleep and mental calm are just as vital as exercise. Before bed, he meditates for 15 minutes to clear his thoughts and ease tension. On tour, He uses noise-canceling headphones and blackout curtains to mimic home. He avoids screens for an hour before sleep and reads light books if needed. He sometimes takes naps after rehearsals. This rest routine ensures he wakes refreshed and ready for early rehearsals or travel days. Inevitably, he feels aches that come with an 80-year career. He treats minor pains with hot and cold packs and occasional ibuprofen. For nagging joint stiffness, he uses low-intensity laser therapy and ultrasound sessions, guided by his physio. He also practices daily mobility drills, ankle circles, wrist stretches, and gentle spinal twists to keep joints moving. When needed, he visits a sports doctor for checkups. He says staying ahead of aches is key to avoiding forced breaks and to keeping shows consistent night after night. Overall, Mick Jagger's health routine is a blend of diet, exercise, rest, and injury prevention. He credits consistent habits. He listens to his body and adjusts as needed, scaling back when fatigue strikes and pushing harder when energy flows. This balance lets him face each tour date with confidence. For a man in his 80s, his vitality and longevity reflect a lifetime of discipline, passion, and careful self-care. Family ties. Mick Jagger is the father of 8 children born across 50 years with 5 different partners, and each child follows a unique path that reflects a blend of creativity and independence. His eldest daughter, Karis Hunt Jagger, was born in November 1970 to actress and singer Marsha Hunt, and now works in film production in Los Angeles. Next is Jade Sheena Jezebel Jagger, born in October 1971 to Nicaraguan actress Bianca Jagger, who became a successful jewelry designer and model in New York and London. Twins Elizabeth Scarlett and James Leroy Augustin Jagger arrived in March 1972 from Bianca Jagger and the late photographer Robert Mapplethorpe, with Elizabeth pursuing photography and acting, and James building a career in music and film production. Georgia May Aisha Jagger was born in January 1992 to Jerry Hall before moving into fashion entrepreneurship at age 30. Gabriel Luke Beauregard Jagger, born in December 1997 to Jerry Hall, founded a media website and design studio in Brooklyn. Lucas Maurice Morad Jagger was born in May 1999 to model Luciana Gimenez and works in creative direction and travel content in Miami and Paris. Finally, Devereaux Octavian Basil Jagger, born in December 2016 to former ballet dancer Melanie Hamrick, brings new energy to the family as the youngest member now attending school in New York City. Marsha Hunt, Mick's first partner in fame and parenthood, and he have maintained a cordial friendship since their split, celebrating Karis's milestones together and sharing support during her film festival appearances. Bianca Jagger wed Salvadoran politician Juan José Chamorro in 1971 and later returned to Paris, but kept in touch with Mick over annual birthday dinners for the twins. Jerry Hall and Mick had a high-profile relationship throughout the 1970s and early 1980s, and although they never married officially, they co-parented 4 children and shared holiday gatherings in Buckinghamshire. Luciana Gimenez, who has Lucas, splits her time between São Paulo and Miami and speaks with Jagger on birthdays and school recitals via video calls. Melanie Hamrick and Mick began dating in 2014, welcomed Devereaux in 2016, and now share custody of their son while rotating between a Manhattan townhouse and a Loire Valley chateau during Stone's breaks. Despite relentless touring schedules, Mick blocks some weeks in his calendar for family time, honoring school events, recitals, and birthdays without fail. He hosts summer barbecues at Winter Hill, inviting siblings, nieces, and nephews to swim in the lake and play family football matches on the lawn. In December, He flies to New York for Christmas Eve at Melanie's townhouse, then spends New Year's in France, blending traditions with Yule logs, turkey dinners, and champagne toasts. These activities keep distances short and hearts close even when the band is on the road for months. Mick's role as patriarch has grown with the new generation as grandchildren arrive, with Jade's daughter Assisi giving him great-grandparent status at 70. Georgia May's pregnancy in mid-2024 added another layer of anticipation, and Lucas's recent engagement to his long-term partner brought family-wide excitement for a wedding ceremony in 2026. Family group texts buzz with voice notes, emojis, and spontaneous plans for gallery openings or beach weekends, and Mick replies with voice clips in his characteristic drawl. Through every change, his affection never wavers. He listens to school plays from backstage, applauds at gallery events, and claps at fashion shows when his daughters walk the runway. He says that family life grounds him more than any standing ovation ever could, reminding him that legacy is built in the house as much as on concert stages. As Mick looks ahead, he balances rock and roll with fatherhood, ensuring his children and grandchildren know his pride far exceeds any chart position. And while his heart beats loudest for family, the spaces Mick retreats to reveal even more. Places of peace, power, and privacy, tucked behind gates and across continents. Homes across the world. Mick Jagger owns homes in England, the United States, and beyond. His main estate sits in Turville, Buckinghamshire, where he purchased Winter Hill in the early 1970s. The property covers 50 acres of rolling fields, ancient woodlands, and a private lake. He renovated the main house in a rustic style, keeping the original beams and stone walls. Guest cottages stand nearby for visiting family and friends. He uses the land for walking, fishing, and family gatherings. He gardens organic vegetables and keeps bees for honey. A large gym houses his workout equipment and space for dance rehearsals. The estate gives him privacy and room to recharge between tour dates. In London, Jagger holds two key residences. The first is a 5-bedroom townhouse near Regent's Park in Marylebone. This red brick home features high ceilings, sash windows, and a large breakfast room. He hired local artisans to restore fireplaces and wood floors. The second is a penthouse apartment at a converted Victorian building on Baker Street. He listed that flat for sale in early 2025 at £5.5 million. It boasts panoramic views across central London, a glass-fenced terrace, and underground parking. The penthouse has 3 bedrooms, a media room, and a modern kitchen with marble countertops. Across the Atlantic, Jagger owns a loft in New York City's Soho district. The building was once a cast-iron warehouse and now offers loft-style living with exposed beams, wide plank floors, and tall windows. He uses this space when touring North America, enjoying its proximity to galleries and restaurants. His design blends vintage rock memorabilia with contemporary art. He entertains guests at a long dining table made from reclaimed wood and displays guitars along the walls. Further south, he acquired a waterfront villa in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, in 2024. The 2-story home sits on half an acre next to a canal. It includes a heated pool, a private dock for boats, and a covered patio with space for live music rehearsals. He rents this villa to friends and family in the off-season. The tropical climate allows year-round outdoor living and morning runs along the water's edge. Rumors persist about other holdings. He is said to own a villa on Ischia, an Italian island near Naples, where he records in a studio built into a cliff. He also maintains an apartment in Monte Carlo that overlooks the Mediterranean. Those homes remain off-market and are known only to close friends and staff. caretakers look after these homes when he is away. Gardeners, housekeepers, security staff, maintenance crews, and trusted groundskeepers maintain each estate so it is ready all year round when he arrives. Together, these properties form a worldwide network of retreats. Each one reflects a different side of his life. The rural calm of Winter Hill, the urban energy of London and New York, and the relaxed pace of Florida and the Mediterranean. He balances these homes with his touring schedule, moving from country to city to coast. His real estate holds not just the value of assets, but the promise of rest, inspiration, and the freedom to live on his terms. Hackney Diamonds and beyond. In October 2023, the Rolling Stones released Hackney Diamonds, their first album of new songs in 18 years. They recorded most tracks at Hackney Diamond Studios in East London. The title hints at raw energy and hidden brilliance. The album opens with Angry, a driving rock song that sets the tone with gritty guitars and Mick Jagger's familiar drawl. That track received a music video featuring Sydney Sweeney driving a vintage Mustang at night. The Stones brought in both old and new collaborators. Lady Gaga lends vocals on Sweet Sounds of Heaven, adding soulful power. Paul McCartney appears on the piano-led Live by the Sword. Stevie Wonder plays keyboards on the same track, and Elton John adds his voice to a reimagined ballad. Late drummer Charlie Watts appears posthumously on 2 tracks, honoring his legacy. To bring the record to life, they teamed with producer Andrew Watt, known for modern rock work. He helped combine the Stones' classic sound with fresh studio techniques. The result feels both familiar and current. People praised the album's energy, noting that Jagger's voice still crackles with urgency. Rolling Stones fans found comfort in the mix of bluesy riffs and catchy choruses. The album debuted in the top 5 in both the United Kingdom and America, marking another chart milestone for the band. In spring 2024, they launched the Hackney Diamonds Tour, a North American stadium run. The tour began at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey and ended in July at SoFi Stadium in California. They played 20 shows in 18 cities, selling over 840,000 tickets and grossing nearly $235 million. Each concert ran for just under 2 hours, featuring 25 songs spanning 6 decades. Performances mixed new tracks with classics like Start Me Up, Paint It Black, and Gimme Shelter. A 25-piece string section joined for slower moments, giving ballads a lush, cinematic feel. Video backdrops chronicled the Stones' history, showing grainy black-and-white footage and recent tour clips. On stage, Jagger moved with purpose. He paced the boards, ran short bursts, and struck signature poses. His breathing remained controlled, and his voice never wavered. Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood traded guitar licks with youthful zeal. Steve Jordan, filling in for Charlie Watts, nailed every drum beat. The band's sound techs adjusted speakers for crystal-clear audio. Fans cheered at every chorus and held lighters during the slow songs. Backstage, Jagger met with his tour manager to discuss logistics for a planned summer tour in Europe. However, promoters could not secure workable dates for 2025, leading to a postponement. Mick expressed hope the European leg will return in 2026, promising fans a full celebration of Hackney Diamonds overseas. Beyond touring, Mick set his sights on new projects. He plans a memoir recounting stories from 6 decades on the road, with chapters devoted to early struggles, chart breakthroughs, and insights on maintaining creativity. He hinted at working with a noted writer to capture honest, unfiltered moments. Additionally, he is developing a documentary on his musical heroes in American blues, shining light on artists like Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy. Filming will begin later in 2025, with interviews and rare concert footage. Mick also remains active in business and philanthropy. He joined the board of a wellness startup focused on plant-based nutrition, reflecting his health habits. He funds art scholarships at Dartford Grammar School, supporting students who follow music and acting. In interviews, he says these ventures keep him grounded and connected to the next generation. As Hackney Diamonds settles into the Stones' discography, Mick teases more studio sessions. He has experimented with reggae rhythms and electronic loops in his home studio. He and Keith Richards have sporadic writing sessions when breaks occur between tour legs. Fans watch social media for hints of new songs or surprise shows. Looking ahead, the Rolling Stones stand at a crossroads between past and future. They honor their roots in blues and rock, while testing new sounds. Their collaboration shows that creative fire does not fade with age. In Mick Jagger's own words, the journey continues as long as the music lives. Whether on a stage in North America or a planned tour in Europe and beyond, the spirit of the Rolling Stones marches on. But Mick Jagger's voice doesn't just echo through amps and stadiums. It occasionally cuts through political noise, too, in moments that remind the world he's more than just a front man. Rockstar meets politics. Sir Mick Jagger has always used his fame to speak out on issues that matter, even at stadium shows where few expect politics. In September 2024, at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, he paused after "You Can't Always Get What You Want" to mock Louisiana's governor for wanting to take the crowd back to the Stone Age, showing he still views rock as a way to challenge power. Though he cannot vote in the United States elections, he has repeatedly urged American fans to cast ballots. He posted a video on social media telling them not to take their rights for granted. At a Vote Rocks rally in Brooklyn with Bill Clinton and Stevie Wonder, he stood on stage in a Rolling Stones t-shirt and reminded a crowd of young fans that democracy depends on participation. These actions echo the Rolling Stones' roots in protest music. Songs like "Street Fighting Man" first showed Jagger's willingness to address unrest. Today, he draws on that legacy. In interviews, he says that speaking out at concerts aligns with his duty as a public figure to use his voice beyond entertainment. He faces criticism when politics intrude on rock, yet he insists that social awareness and rhythm go hand in hand. Offstage, his civic work extends to philanthropy. Since the 1985 Live Aid concert, he has backed causes for famine relief, AIDS research, and refugee support. He is a vocal supporter of AmFair and the Elton John AIDS Foundation, and he has offered proceeds from Stones recordings to benefit War Child and UNHCR. In 2023, he suggested that the value of the Rolling Stones' music catalog might serve good causes instead of enriching heirs. His suggestion that his 8 children do not need a $500 million inheritance led to widespread praise. At home, Jagger plans for a lasting cultural legacy. In his hometown of Dartford, Kent, local officials approved a museum dedicated to his career, set to open in 2026. The museum will display vintage stage outfits, handwritten lyrics, and interactive exhibits on blues pioneers who inspired him. He has agreed to donate personal papers, photographs, and early demo tapes to the British Library, ensuring that scholars can study his impact for generations. His approach to legacy shows the same blend of showmanship and purpose that defined his music. He supports arts education at Dartford Grammar School through scholarships for performance students. He funds community music programs in London and New York, and he advises startups in health and sustainability, drawing on his disciplined lifestyle. Mick Jagger's journey from Dartford dreamer to global rock star transformed popular culture. His evolution into a citizen advocate and philanthropist demonstrates that the power of music can shape opinions and inspire action. As he stands under stadium lights, he honors a past of rebellion and looks ahead to a future where rock and responsibility are inseparable. His legacy will rest not only on chart-topping hits and sold-out tours, but also on a life spent proving that rock and roll can be a powerful force for change. At 81, Mick Jagger shows that true passion never fades. From his early days in Dartford to packed stadiums around the world, his energy still drives every note and every step. Stay tuned for more interesting stories. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment on your thoughts.